Today, I want to answer the question, is the INNOVA groove really that bad? We have a factory second groove here. I just went and bought this. It's a little bit domey. We got some discs to compare it to, but I figure might as well compare groove versus time-lapse, because why not? You know, I want to do a time-lapse again, to be frank. I also have brought out one of my favorite distance drivers to finish on interval, as well as a Shrike, which is similar to the numbers, because I think the groove is like 13.6 -2.2. We're at Center Hills Disc Golf Course, which I've never actually played the normal layout of, and we're also not going to do that today. We're kind of going to safari, move around some holes. I don't know why I do this to myself. Just kidding, I do, because it's a lot of fun. And mean disc might not actually be that bad. The only main problem is I only have one groove, and I have one time lapse. And this place just runs along some lakes. So if we lose them, we're kind of screwed. Also, new shoes, how you like them? I hope I like them. My first round, I literally just got them. Starting off in a tailwind, and it calls this 300 feet right to that basket. The groove, I don't absolutely hate the way it feels in the hand. It is certainly interesting, and every groove that I've ever picked up, which I haven't thrown one since maybe I was 3 months into playing, like a year and year and a half ago, has always felt a little bit like flashy. It does seem like it's gonna be a little more understable. Give them some rips on hyzer to start out with. Oh yeah, Champion Plastic is gonna make it overstable. Don't skip in. I think this is a little farther than 300. I will say, coming off my hand, that did not feel good. Oh, dang, I thought I made it. Just for good measure, on those kind of hyzers, throw the interval real fast, which is, I'm gonna call it slightly slower than both of those. Pretty neutral. Go in the basket. Oh my gosh. And the Shrike, which is apparently a little flippy. A little flip up, not too much though. I do only have one putter, but that's okay, because the groove just likes to park it. Time lapse. Oh my gosh. The only time I've ever played at this course was back last summer before I moved here. When I was living in my van with my wife, I played an MA2 tournament here at like a little safari layout. So this one is hole 2 that we're gonna be playing to hole 3's basket. I think if we play to the long basket, it's closer to like 550. So we'll be able to get some full rips. Groove has the box. I definitely know with the Champion Plastic, it's gonna make it more overstable than the numbers would suggest. I just don't know what this weird little lip thing is doing, because if you look at it, it looks like the rim goes away and then there's like a little outcropping. It is very odd. Wow, that thing is pretty overstable. See if we can push it past. We better be able to. This is Simon's disc, baby. Just slightly past it. Not a crazy amount. Shrike. See how this guy rips. Oh man. Ripped. I found that with most meme discs, they have some use to them. Frankly, the groove, I don't know what anyone would throw it over any other disc in this category. I still want to see like if that weird groove thing makes it have a weird shape. Because honestly, like I don't feel like it's the worst disc ever made. Does that mean you should actually use it? I mean, we'll definitely have to see throughout this round. So far, I don't like mind the flight, but why did they even make it, honestly? And it's crazy, when I went and bought it, shout out Joe from Fly Green, he was telling me that there was also a Monarch, which is a flippier 10-speed. It has the same rim as the groove. So, I don't know why they went and made these guys. Innovative, whatever. This channel allows this 13-speed to be molded in lighter weights than our other wide rim high-speed drivers. Okay, I got a 175. But also says Champion 165 to 175. What are you talking about? 13.6 -2.2. So it supposedly flies like that Shrike, which just turned and rode, and I flexed this thing, and it didn't do that. But it is Champion. INNOVA Champion's always kind of stupid. You just get saying we're like 397, nothing crazy. The Shrike though, where'd it go? So that one's probably 420, and the Shrike, oh my gosh, the Shrike is past the basket. UDisc is calling this 506 feet. Oh, 496, 495, 496 feet with the Shrike. Oh, just over top. Not gonna lie, I'm stoked on that. Hey, couple pars. Not sure if they're pars. We'll call it a par 3. It's like a drivable par 4 if it is a par 4, but we'll call it a par 3. Straight ahead down there. Groove still has the box. We're gonna go 4 hands on these. Make sure, give them a touch of flex so that it kind of takes off some speed so they won't skip as much. Don't want to go in the water because we only have one of them. Forehand kind of feels atrocious. The bottom side right here feels like there's so much flashing. So hopefully I don't rip my fingers open. 338. Gosh, that is so overstable for nothing. I don't feel like it has a lot of glide, and I feel like it's almost like a boss stable, like Star Boss, not Champ Boss, obviously, but way better. Way better. I know they say that they make that groove so it can be in lighter weight. First off, it's not, so why? Second off, it just adds so much flashing that why do you care if it's gonna be lighter weight or not? Time lapse is tied up to the groove. At this point, I was really hoping the groove would be like kind of flippy, that I can like finesse it and be like, wow, this is such a fun, good disc. Kind of like this Star Strike, which I bought new, which I'm kind of in love with right now. I'm gonna be doing a Strike versus Strive, the new Latitude 64 flippy Rive, versus Infinite Pharaoh pretty soon. But if the time lapse loses to the groove, I'm trying to think of what I can. If the time lapse loses to the groove, I'll give away the time lapse. If it ties, keep them. But if it loses to the groove, I'm giving it away. It's gone. I can't have it be in my sight anymore, you know? All right, we're gonna be going to a basket way out there between those trees. Par 4, it says 672 feet on U-disc. Time lapse up first. I guess we're playing 10 to 12's basket. I honestly was kind of expecting to enjoy some finesse out of the groove today. Don't know if I'm enjoying the groove today. Kind of just flat, didn't really turn it over at all. Probably will have about 300-ish in from there, maybe a little forehand. See if we can get the groove past the time lapse. It does feel like a 13 speed, like it feels bigger in your hands. I gotta know what INNOVA was thinking making this thing, you know? Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it because I skied it. I was trying to turn it over. Didn't turn it over. I might keep throwing the interval a little bit just because this disc is way more fun than those. Especially when you can throw it 80 feet past them. Wow, that thing is good. Check out the Strike. This is what the groove's supposed to fly like. Maybe not that, but kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie, this is a bit sad. Groove, by distance, is probably equally, if not a little farther than time lapse. The Strike is farther than both of them, and it hit the pole in 30 feet in the air. Yikes, dude. Not gonna lie, time lapse is a really cool drop. I think it's really cool for disc golf, really cool for Simon's career. I was really expecting something a little different. Not gonna say better or worse, just different. Oh, that's pretty good. Went a little long, but pretty good. Hey, no, just keep it there. Perfect, thank you. It's always like kind of irksome, but also like super like thoughtful that someone would be like, oh, he just threw this disc. Maybe I could throw it back to him. I always try to have that interpretation. We'll throw the groove on a forehand as well. Why not? A little flex. Man, that is just, why? Yeah, huh? Okay, I need to throw one forehand that I actually like the disc. Also, I wasn't lying. Actually, false, I was lying. I'm here, I'm gonna step it out. By my paces, I'm 30 meters in front of my other discs with the interval. I wasn't lying when I said went 80 feet farther. That disc and me, get along, baby. I'm just kind of floored by how overstable this groove is. Not even just because of the numbers, just because it's like overstable, but it doesn't even have the glide. Great putt. This is one of the reasons why I think flight numbers are somewhat important. They set an expectation. And so if they're super off, yeah, you can say flight numbers aren't important or whatnot, but at the end of the day, they're what a manufacturer is saying their disc flies like. And there's a general like range of acceptability on what a 13.6 negative 2.2 disc flies like. You know, like the Strike is pretty expected for like a negative 2.2, negative 1.52. The groove almost seems like a 0-turn disc. Like really, like I'd say the interval is negative 1 turn because it kind of holds over. The groove just kind of wants to get out of it. And so I think you couple a flight that is like not crazy desirable. Like, I mean, I don't feel like I throw super short by any means. I don't throw the farthest ever, but for just a flight like this is not something I would ever look for really in a disc. And so you couple that with it not being like its flight numbers, with it also having this weird little groove thing, just not ideal. Basket straight ahead there. There's that lake. I think it says it's about 300. Looks a little farther. Skip in. Oh, maybe it's closer to 300 than I thought. Maybe not have to shank this. No, we'll make the correction. Oh gosh, that slipped out. I promise I didn't try to shank it. I really promise. I really promise. I'm not mad that I shanked it. I am like worried in ripping into it for my fingers because of the flashing. I might rub it around on a T-pad and try to remove the flashing. I'll say there is definitely something about how a disc comes off of your hand that can show you if you like it or not. Like, one of the reasons why I like that interval so much is it is tacky enough that when I throw it, I like feel it kind of ripping off those last fingers, and I know I got a really clean, good release. With the groove, and even the time lapse suffers from this slightly because of how kind of stiff and high the shoulder is, it's harder for me to get that feeling as much. The groove, I've not got it at all. Like, maybe if I try to throw some Anheuser, because it's a little more intentionality of keeping it on my fingers for longer, but so far, I felt seriously more prone to misreleasing the groove than any of these other guys. Oh man, playing too right side, I guess. I think of my workout just grabbing this putter every time. 2 through 5. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play to the basket that is straight out there, hole 6. I think that's basket 14. Okay, we'll actually play to 14. It says we're 447 from 14, which is dead ahead of us. Not that basket, but in the next clearing. So it's gonna be a big old water carry to try to get there. We can bail out closer to the short basket, which is about 360. Try to turn them over, but bail out left. Wow, man. I don't know if I'm just like really bad at disc golf or what. Whew. Nice little 390 there. Ugh. All right, time lapse. Way better shot. Way more committed. Probably just outside the circle. Not too phenomenal. Try the interval, of course. Get out of it. Yeah, that's just what I mean by like, it just comes out cleaner. Like that thing was humming out of my hand. I might have actually juiced the basket there. So I was thinking about it a bit more on my way over here, and I think the tackiness of that interval, and maybe even the start, go in. Oh, just past it. And maybe even the star plastic from INNOVA, which, I mean, this strike also went very far. I think the reason that over that champ plastic and the Neutron, and obviously it has to do a little bit with the shape and how that fits in your hand, but they're coming out of my hand so much cleaner because one, my grip strength in this finger is like way less than my left index finger. I actually bought like specific grippers to try to work on it because of kind of how weak that grip has been. And I know if I had stronger grip, I can just grip onto anything and rip it out of my hand. So I definitely want to continue working on that. Oh, interval just inside the circle short. That must be, that's far. I gotta say, that's probably more than 450. Some of these, I mean, trust in U-disc is not it. Like, I bet that hole's closer to 500 feet, but who knows? And so I think like being able to just grab this and like hold on to it so well with a pinch grip would do me so much good. And so working on this, obviously some of it has to do with the way that it fits in your hand, but the interval fits very well. It has the tackiness that I don't feel like I need as much grip strength to really rip on it. Whereas this one, I feel like I need a little bit more because otherwise it can fall out early, which obviously we don't want to happen, but there's a chance. Yeah, this is definitely farther than 450 foot hole. These were over 400 shots. Stay up. What a freaking putt, dude. What a 2. Yeah, I need to bring a rangefinder out next time I do these safaris just to see how far that stuff actually is. Because this interval, I felt like I threw it 450, 460 at least, and it's 30 feet short. So I'd say it's probably 490 foot hole. I cannot believe I just got that birdie. Time lapse is up 1. Hole 15, dead ahead. Looks like 350 maybe, 344. Yeah, time lapse definitely has the box. I think I could just probably go flat to hyzer, but turnovers also help me with that like feeling of it coming off my fingers because the out in to back out motion helps me to really rip it off that first finger. I think I can do that with hyzers as well, but I'm just not as good with it. So time lapse. That was not Anheuser at all, dude. Oh, wow, what skips we're getting today. I think that's also an important reason to throw something on Annie. That was inside the circle when it skipped, so it got down there, but we're gonna need to really flex this, kind of a flex stall shot, so it falls down to the basket instead of getting these nasty skips. Come on, groove. Dude, I don't know why I can't turn that disc over. Well, I just can't throw. I feel like it has to be something with the discs, because I feel like I can throw an Anheuser. Yeah. Okay. I don't know, something about those discs is weird. Go in. Too far. Huh. I'm glad that I'm remembering that again about the time lapse, because when I threw it initially, I was like, something about that just doesn't get along with me. I think in their proton plastic or their fission plastic, once it's slightly beat in, and maybe this Neutron as it gets a little gummier as it beats, it'll be a lot better. But both of these feel a little slippy off my fingers, which I think is a little bit of a grip strength issue. But it's meaning that it's a lot harder for me to keep them in my hand as I turn them over, and they kind of fall out a little early and come off of my pinky and ring finger instead of my index finger and my middle finger like I want them to. Way too technical, but I think that's what's happening. We can fix that and correct on it. We just have to be way more intentional with how we throw them and how much more lean back we are, not trusting the like arm to get there, but a little over exaggerating the body movement. So even if it comes out flat, it's gonna be on Anheuser. Since these are both well overstable enough to work back out of it, even if we burn them over too much. Drop. Oh. Got it. Oh, no. It turned into the groove and didn't glide. It's 231, 17, 301, 18, 174, and it's 500 feet away. I really want to try that carry, but I do not have that distance. So instead, we're just gonna go to the short basket here, 230 or 40 feet, and just throw these kind of on some stall hyzers, let them hit, hopefully not roll into the water. That's fine. I don't know why it's so much more overstable on a forehand than the time lapse is. It like really doesn't want to stay in the air, that thing. Just for fun, I want to see if the strike still wants to go far. We're 450 feet away from that basket and just try to knock it in the water. It's basically a full carry, full send. That was the most rude thing ever. That was going past the basket. What the heck? I'm putting a lot better than I was with my flippy guys. My strike is so good. I cannot wait to compare that with the Strive and the Pharaoh. Time lapse is hanging out up 1 through 9. We're going to 18's basket instead of playing 17. Actually, 17 might be a good hole to play from here. 17 is 370 from here. 18 is, they call it 300. We'll go to 17. Right, I'm interested to see how much Simon's gonna throw that thing on tour. We're gonna go, time lapse has the box, 370. We actually have to turn these over, so get the body back, clear the arm, rip them. There we go. Glad we can make the correction. Maybe a little too overcorrected, but oh, wow. Okay, I mean, on Anheuser, that went over 400 feet. Like, that still likes to go. I definitely felt it coming off these back fingers where I feel the strike and the interval coming off the front fingers. That's such an interesting realization. If we can get the groove there, we're grooving. Oh my God. Unsubscribe. Okay, again, a little bit of an overcorrection. That groove is more overstable than time lapse though. And it's also deep. Let me show you how you're supposed to play this. Interval on hyzer. You just throw a good disc and it gets there really easily on a hyzer. And you also throw it a little deep because it's a good disc. Not saying time lapse isn't a good disc. I just don't think it's for me. And I really wanted it to be, man. It's so cool. And Simon's so cool. And I love him. But that disc is just not it for me right now. Dang, that's sad. So the groove and the time lapse are on top of each other. I feel like I threw the groove harder, interval, of course, and it like swung out right more. So if we make one, we make them both. I'm just gonna pop between them. Oh, I'm just too huge on my putter. Not giving it to the groove, not happening. Still, time lapse winning by 1. Hopefully, 7 holes to go. I really think there's a lot that you can do at this course with water carries, which is basically just like a forced carry of distance, but not a ton in the way of like trees and stuff. I'm gonna guess the time lapse and groove there went right about 405, just based on U-disc. From us here, they call it 437 from here, so where we're gonna tee off right here will be about 430 feet. Oh, they only call it 420. So we'll tee off from this fringe. Time lapse still has the box. Gotta get over on it, but this time I'm a little more scared it's not gonna come back. We throw that same shot we just threw though, we should be inside the circle. Maybe try to like throw it on a more Annie, just a little more left that it pans the whole way. Ah, not enough Anheuser. It's crazy how I feel like coming off those back fingers. It's pretty short. Still didn't turn it over enough. Oh my gosh, it went almost shorter. Wow, it's kind of impressive to me how not far these discs are going. Oh, come out of it. Oh no. Clear it. It went far, but I think it's gone. That's crazy because I felt like I threw that on less Anheuser than the other two. I got one more interval, it's a white one. I cannot lose it. I'll be out. Where that interval went in the water was 10 or 20 feet past the basket. I mean, this is a slight headwind. Now I'm coming up here, so maybe I should have felt that and not ripped it on that much anhyzer. But the fact that there's probably like an 80-foot distance and how consistently I can throw the time lapse in the interval is kind of nuts to me, to be frank. The groove, I don't care. The groove, unfortunately, I think is gonna live up to the moniker of one of the worst discs ever. I really wanted to like it more. I really did. It really sucks. I really don't like it. I was hoping that this would be a positive little meme disc review. It's not. Groove sucks. Thank God the time lapse is winning. No chance. Oh, dang, groove. Oh, sit. Oh, I can see it. I can see the interval. Save the golden liquid disc in this video. Ah, I need a big long stick. Or maybe I'm swimming. I don't want to swim. This is gross water. Oh no. It's so far. I need to keep like a fishing pole or something in my van. I think I'm going in. That's nasty, but I think I have to do it. Oh gosh. How is it staying up there? Okay, super shallow. This is about to be the coldest water ever, dude. Oh my gosh. Whew. I think this water is legitimately 40 degrees. Oh, it is so cold. Oh yes. Yes. At least I got thermal shoes now. Whatever that means, Vivo. I'm genuinely surprised that the time lapse didn't grow on me more. I really thought it would. I really am like doing everything in my power to like this disc. But I do really think this has taught me a valuable lesson in how important it is to find a disc that like you feel like you can grip well. Because I was noticing earlier today, I was filming another video and I was throwing my C-Line CD1 a bit and it just kept coming out early. It's cold, my fingers don't have a lot of like moisture in them, so they're not very grippy. And just made me realize, and then this as well, is making me realize how important that is, both for the sense of like shape and like getting the angle that you want, but also almost more importantly, nose angle. My nose angle on the Shrike and on the interval have been really good today, like almost surprisingly good for me. Like pretty nose down, very powerful and confident. Like that disc, the basket's up there. I went and grabbed it after it went in the water. If that's 420, that was 450. I think that's definitely something to keep in mind when you're watching review videos, especially mine. Like, I probably have smaller hands than the majority of you guys. I'm only 5'6". I'm on the shorter end of adults, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have bigger hands than me. Things are going to fit and feel differently. You're in different humidities. You like different types of grips for yourself. Sometimes it just happens that the plastic that I'm reviewing or the disc that I'm reviewing just doesn't fit right, and that means that you're not going to be able to get a really good grip on it. We're back here to hole 2, but this time we're going to play the actual basket, especially because I feel like that's the right distance for the groove and the time lapse. I think that's really what it is. Like when I play with Simon's hands are obviously way bigger than mine. And so the shoulder's probably very comfortable. Like he's able to wrap his hands around, get a comfortable grip, has a strong grip strength and can rip it out. For me, it's just a little bit too chunky in the hand for me to really do that. And so even though I'm seeing decent shapes, all the shapes that I'm seeing are slightly slowed down from how fast I can actually throw a disc in like the correct lines. So sometimes I need to remind myself, and then it's also important just to state it because if I don't like something, you like it. Like everybody's body's different, so of course it's gonna be different. There we go. Like I tried to really turn that over, and it came out barely past flat. Skip in. Oh, that's a phenomenal shot though. And I can't. That disc never comes out well. It's really surprising to me how poorly I can throw that thing. Time lapse got a little birdie. No. I ain't got time for one more hole, so we're gonna play hole 2's pad back to hole 1, which is probably gonna be a relatively similar distance, but flat ground with OB to the left. I was really hoping it was more true to its numbers because that would actually be a fun meme disc. Like if you had a Shrike that felt like a groove, you're like, what the heck is this? But it's still flipping up, turning over. You're like, okay, you kinda don't hate it. But this one, you kinda hate. Let's be real. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Nice shape. I don't even think it's the dome. I think it's this weird little ridge under here that the time lapse is much more like gentle left to right because of how domey it is. This one you'd expect to be the same because of the dome. It should gently move left to right, but it's kind of knifey. It doesn't like pass through under it cleanly. It like does a weird thing. I'm not a scientist, but oh God, sit. I can't turn that thing over. Okay, luckily I don't have to get back in the water for that piece. Confirmed. Groove sucks. Sad day. I was hoping for a different ending, to be honest with you. But you can't always get what you want. What I wanted was a cool groove, not a piece of trash. So I may or may not have been playing a fun hole back to hole number 1. Through the time lapse, barely threw it in the water. Tried to correct for the groove, couldn't because it couldn't come out cleanly, and the groove might be in the middle of the lake. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying that.